Hello, everybody. There have been a lot of questions at both the district board and club level about how you check the status of your club's foundation. And this can be used for any 501c3 organization, but the questions have generally arisen in connection with clubs that have filed for 501c3 status under the Southwest District Foundation umbrella. So if you want to check to see your status, you want to see if your 990 filings are up to date, or if there has been an automatic revocation, this is how you can do it. And it's very easy. I should also point out that this is how your larger donors will search for your 501c3 status to make sure that you are a 501c3 when they donate to you. So let's jump in. What you need. You are going to need a computer or a smartphone with an internet connection because this search is done on the IRS website. You're then going to need your foundation's SS4 form with your foundation's EIN. If you do not have that, you can do this search with just the foundation EIN number, as long as you have that somewhere. Now, let me stop for a minute and point out that your foundation EIN number is different than your club EIN number. It's different than the Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation EIN number. This would have been an EIN that was pulled specific for your club foundation when you formed your club foundation and started the process of filing for 501c3 status under the Southwest District Foundation umbrella. So that's important that you get the right EIN number. All right, so once you have those two things handy, real simple process. You're going to go to this website. So https://apps.irs.gov/app/EOS/. You're going to come to a screen that looks just like the screen on this little mock computer right here. It's going to ask you for a number of different things, but for our purposes, it is as easy as 1, 2, because we know the EIN number. So we're not doing a search by name or city or anything like that. We're dialing directly in and searching by EIN number. So step number 1 is we're going to enter the EIN number. Step number 2 is we're going to press that search button. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen momentarily here with this presentation because I want to switch and do a real life search on a couple of EINs so that you can see the different things that come up. All right, so next, what I'm going to do is I am going to share the website. I've already pulled it up. I've entered that website and I've got it here. And so remember, we've got 2 steps. We've got the entering of the EIN number and the pressing of search. So we're going to start by, I'm going to enter the EIN number of a club foundation. So number 1, enter that EIN number. Number 2, press search. So one of the questions that came up, a lot of different people asked, is, okay, you said that this 476754394 number was a club foundation. It's actually the Kiwanis Club of Desert Ridge Foundation. But when it comes up on this search, it comes up as Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation. And the reason why is that foundation filed under the Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation umbrella. So the name comes up here. If you have donors who are searching for your specific club, you're going to have to give them your SS4 that shows that this EIN number is connected to your individual club foundation. Because if they pull the EIN number on the website, the IRS website, they're going to say, Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation, that's not who I'm donating to. I'm donating to the Kiwanis Club of Tempe. So you may have that extra step that you have to do. Now, one of the EIN searches that I'm going to walk you through, it actually has in parentheses who the subsidiary foundation is. I don't know how they did that, to tell you the truth. Very handy that they did, but a lot of you are just going to come up when you put in your foundation EIN number, it's going to come up with Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation. So you're going to have to do the extra step of reaching out to your donor and saying, you know, when you do your IRS search on their website, it's going to say Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation. Here is my SS4 form that shows that this EIN number belongs to our club foundation, but since we're under the Southwest District Kiwanis umbrella, that's the name that comes up on the IRS website. It's just an extra step you're going to have to do because of the convenience of filing as a subsidiary under the foundation umbrella. All right, so this was one search, and you can see here, you know, no notifications of anything bad going on. It's got all the 990s listed, no specifications about being revoked or anything like that. So this is a fairly clean reporting. Let's go back. We're gonna enter another, and well, I'll point it out on this next recording here. All right, so here's another EIN. Let's do this search. So this is another club foundation. Step number 1, enter the EIN. Step number 2, press search. Okay, so here again, don't be confused by the fact that it comes up Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation, because this club foundation filed under the Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation umbrella. So that's the organization name that's going to come up. If they have a donor who says, hey, I wanted to donate to you, not to this Southwest District Foundation, you need to provide them with your SS4 form that shows that this EIN number is connected to your club foundation. This club foundation gets the same results as the last club foundation that we looked for. No comment on revocation or being in bad standing, just lists all the postcards. All right, so we're going to contrast that now with another club foundation. Step 1, fill out the EIN. Step 2, press search. All right, so this club here, when we go to our search results, we can see it still has the name. It's got nicely in parentheses here that we've got the subsidiary's name, so that helps. You know, if a donor's doing a search, we come over here and we say, ooh, we've got a new button here that we didn't have on the last EINs that we searched. There was an auto revocation. So let's click on the organization and see what we can find. They were, at one point in time at least, listed on the auto revocation list. And it looks like their revocation was back in February of 2013. And so if you search your club and this comes up, you know, you probably want to look, and we're going to search the foundation, the Southwest District Foundation, in a minute, and you're going to see the revocation date there was May of, I think, 2023. So this revocation, you can see, had nothing to do with what happened with the parent foundation last year. This was something that happened before. And if you go back, you can see their 1090s, looks like their 1090s stopped in 2008. You know, I'm assuming that this club probably folded. And so that's why they were listed on the revocation list. If you search your club foundation and you come up as being on the auto revocation list, and your revocation date is connected with the Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation revocation date, it's important that you read this little italicized note that says, just because an organization appears on this list, it does not mean the organization is currently revoked, as they may have been reinstated. So we're going to see that when we search the Kiwanis Southwest District Foundation next. But if your foundation also comes up as auto revocation, you probably want to call the IRS. You're going to be on hold for a long time, but when you do get through, there's going to be a helpful person and you can figure out, are you still revoked? And if you are, what do you need to do to fix it? Now this sheet, this search result itself will show you if you are behind on your 990 postings. So if you aren't posted through the 2022 year, you could be revoked because you didn't file your 990s. It may have nothing to do with the Kiwanis Southwest District Foundation. So just know that when you do this search on your club foundation, if you come up with an auto revocation list, you want to call the IRS and determine, are you still revoked? And if so, what do you need to do to fix that? All right, so let's go back. As I said, let's do a search here on the foundation itself. And by foundation, I mean the parent, the Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation. All right, so step 1, we entered the EIN. Step 2, we press search. Oh, my bad. Surprise. This is another example of doing a search. So this one is for the newly formed Southwest District of Key Club International, Inc., 501c3. You see a little different thing here because this is a parent. So when we search for the foundation itself, we're going to find that it is going to look similar to this because you're going to be able to pull up the determination letter. If you recall back to what these search results looked like for the individual clubs, they didn't have determination letters because they were subordinates to the Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation. So there's no determination letter for the individual subsidiaries. All right, so I'm going to pause this recording for a minute to get the foundation EIN number, and we're going to look that up. 1 second. All right, so let's search for the parent foundation, which is the Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation, and see what their search results look like. All right, so here we are. And, just like I mentioned with when we looked up the Key Club one, there are different entries here now that we can look for. And the first thing we notice is we do see that they, at one point in time, were listed on the auto revocation list. You can also get a copy of the determination letter and copy of returns. So let's click on their results and see what we can see. And again, let's point out, so the revocation date was February 15th, 2023, but this important note, just because an organization appears on this list does not mean the organization is currently revoked, as they may have been reinstated. As Jim Sowers has pointed out, he did receive a reinstatement letter from the IRS. So this is a good example of how a search that you or a donor might do on the IRS website may pull up that there's a history of a revocation. You will need to, if your foundation comes up as having been auto revoked, you're going to need to call the IRS, determine what you need to do to get back in good standing, and take that action. And when you get your return to good standing letter, you're going to need to keep that in file because a donor may ask, I see that you had auto revoke in 2023, and you say, well, here's our return to good standing letter, and the donor says, oh, great. So this is a good example of how an organization who appears on the auto revocation list is actually in good standing. So if somebody's donating to the Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation and they do this search. They see there was an auto revocation list. Jim's able to share the letter saying that we're back in good standing, and the donor says, great, and they go on with the donation. Your individual subsidiaries, if you come up with an auto revocation list, when you do your search, again, you need to determine, why were we auto revoked? Were we revoked because of something that happened with the foundation, or were we revoked because we did something wrong? And I've given in this video 2 club foundation searches where the clubs continued to file their 990s even during the period in which the foundation, Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation, was having issues, and you saw that they were not on the auto revocation list, that they continued to show in good standing, which leads me to think that if you do a search for your club foundation and it comes up that you are auto revocation, that there may be something other than what happened to the Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation. And I'm going to go back to the example of the club that, or to the foundation that was revoked. So, here's, if you come up and your foundation has an auto revocation list, you want to check to see what the date of the revocation was. And if it wasn't 2023, then that's not going to be related to what happened with the foundation. If you scroll down and you see that you don't have your tax filings current through 2022, that could be the reason why you were auto revocated. Revocated, you were auto revoked. There could be other reasons. If you are not 990 postcard eligible, there would be a spot here that would list your returns. So, if you are curious about the status of your foundation, definitely go to the tax exempt organization search, enter the EIN number of your foundation. Remember, not your club, not Southwest District Foundation, your club foundation. Do the search and see what you find. And if you don't have an auto revocated come up here, donors are going to have no idea that the foundation went through something last year. They're just going to see that you have your 990s, and hopefully your 990s are all current. So I hope that this video on how to do this search is helpful. I do hope to, as the Southwest District Leadership Education Coordinator, I hope to get some more information out for any clubs that might be interested in filing for their separate 501c3 status. So moving themselves out from the umbrella of the Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation. If you have been in tune to the conversations that we've had at district convention and foundation meetings, you understand that the IRS is not keen on these umbrella subsidiary or structures. So they are not going to be overly helpful making sure that a parent subsidiary filing sticks. So, and actually in doing some research for forming the Southwest District Key Club 501c3, it's even questionable whether we should have been setting up the club foundations as subsidiaries to begin with. So anyone who is interested in in setting up their club foundation as a standalone 501c3, that is definitely encouraged. And I hope we can put a webinar together in the future, or a video together in the future, to help you with that process. It's complicated and it's very fact dependent. And so the best advice, even through our webinar, is going to be to talk to a tax attorney or a CPA and have them help you. But I hope that we can put a webinar together in the future that explains issues to you and gives you some direction to go forward to engage a CPA or a tax attorney to help get your club foundation set up separate from the Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation umbrella. But again, I hope this video was helpful. This is the search that your donors are going to make. So again, if you come up as not showing auto revocation list, and you know, the biggest issue you're going to have is they're going to do this search under your EIN number, and it's going to say Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation. So my suggestion would be you preface any conversation with them by saying, you know, here's our EIN number. We are a subsidiary organization of Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation. So here's our SS4 that shows that this is our EIN. When you search for the EIN, you're going to see that we're under the Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation umbrella. Don't panic. You know, make sure that they know that, because if they do a search without knowing that Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation is going to come up, they're going to come back to you and ask questions. So I would preempt that by just making it clear from the very get-go. Here's our EIN number. We're a subsidiary under Southwest District Kiwanis Foundation, 501c3 exemption. So when you do the EIN search, it's our EIN, but their name's going to come up because they're the parent organization. And that will probably be sufficient for anybody that's doing a search. If it's not, you show them your SS4. All right. Thank you guys very much. Hope this was helpful.